All right, good morning everybody. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened here. Yesterday was kind of a little bit of a sideways market more than anything, right? And when we came into our news report yesterday, we were talking about seeing a lot of nice clean wicks to the upside on the hourly, on the 4-hour, up from the high of Tuesday, and it looked like it made sense for there to maybe be a pullback. But like I said in the news report, if you guys were here, I was pretty skeptical of this turning into some type of big pullback, right? I did expect there to be support somewhere here, and in the pre-market session, as we were talking about it, the market was getting the little pullback, right? And I said, hey, look, I'm kind of skeptical of this getting very far. We might get into one of these first roadmap levels, 99, 87, maybe down into 70 here. And that's where I'd expect the bulls to recover and continue to push, because there weren't any major signals for the bears up off the high of this week. So the market opened and we just started pushing. So just like I said, the pullback was probably going to be short-lived. And unfortunately, they did not come right to our roadmap level in this case. About 1 point in front, 1.5 points in front to be exact, they bounced, right? So it didn't quite come and tag into our level, unfortunately. But once it started to rip here, you did get some pretty decent opportunities, right? So it did pull back right into the 200 here for a great opportunity to try a long right out of the open there. And then it pulled back once we got through the next roadmap level, pulled back and held that. In fact, it basically held the previous daily low, and then got through our support and resistance and held there, and then came up and made a high of the day right into our hopeful here. So yesterday, the Holy Orange Power level, our one proprietary level, and 50% of the previous day, I believe, were both sitting right at the same level. And so what happened was market open after this little tiny correction, and they came up and tested right into 50% of the previous day and our hopeful, and just could not get through. So kind of a bearish clue, right? If we can't get through 50% of yesterday's price action, that is not a great sign for the bulls, right? Especially if we did have that bearish clue up from Tuesday's high, not looking great. And it's kind of interesting to note here that when they did break out through there, they came right back to it to try to bounce out and then just kind of petered out. And there's that high, slightly lower than the major high of the day, that led the beginning of the pullback, right? So from there, if you were watching this, should have kind of alerted you that, hey, we're having trouble right at 50% of the previous day, not looking great. And should you have shorted the back end of the roadmap level, the previous daily close, with divergence off the high, you could have got this little pullback. Again, not arguing that should have been exactly what you've been doing, but you did get a great opportunity to try the pullback. And then interestingly enough, on the pullback, the bears just could not get through the previous daily low. So we kind of got some clues that there was some weakness, that maybe the bulls couldn't recover through 50% of the day before, but then the bulls defended the previous daily low. And then as you can see, they tried once again to get back up through this very discrete area in the chart, and literally came into it one tick in front, or two ticks in front, one tick in front, failed, held VWAP, another opportunity there, and then right back, failed, and then when it got back above, tried to hold above it here, and then failed back below. So even though they didn't come up and just tag the level to the tick and fail off of it, you can see how relevant 50% of the previous day and our hopeful were yesterday in this market, right? So they just couldn't get above, tried to, and then failed back down below. And that's how yesterday went. It was just kind of a back and forth tug of war in a tight channel. And so we got kind of clues that maybe the bears are still in power, but then some clues that maybe the bulls were still in power. And now here we are still inside of that coming into the open here. So like I said yesterday, I'm still pretty skeptical of a major sell-off from Tuesday's high, from the weekly high, for a push to, kind of completely wash out this bullish push we've been in for the last couple weeks. Doesn't mean that that's not going to happen here, but we are starting to recover, starting to make higher lows, and now we'll see what happens here. Can the bulls defend and go ahead and pop out from this tight channel that they've been trading in all of yesterday. So let's jump up to the higher time frames and see what the charts have to say for this morning.